Welcome to the bite-sized version of our 2020 Financial Markets Salary Guide webinar. Once a year, we survey our customers, both employers and employees, to gauge the sentiment in the market. We look at employers' hiring confidence, skill shortage areas and salary inflation, as well as employees' intentions and priorities over the coming year. Here are a few brief headlines from this year's report. Hiring levels are markedly down on this time last year. With a backdrop of such political and economic uncertainty, financial institutions are reluctant to invest in change programs and additional headcounts until the upcoming general election and a resolution of the Brexit crisis provides some sort of basis on which to plan. So the hiring we're seeing is predominantly business as usual roles. Certain skill areas remain in high demand and short supply, creating intense competition. More on that later. Away from hiring, employer sentiment is reasonably positive. 89% of financial organisations expect business activity levels for the year ahead to either increase or stay the same. This is compared to 95% last year. Of these, 56% expect activity levels to increase, compared to 64% last year. 63% of employers expect to do some recruitment over the next 12 months, a 10% drop on a year ago. Permanent hiring is the main focus for 54% of employers, while 27% say they plan to hire temporary staff in the next year. Most organisations surveyed have found some positions hard to fill, with 86% saying they've experienced some form of skill shortage within the past year, down from 93% last year, but still very high. 3/4 of employers plan to increase salaries to some extent next year, the same proportion as last year. The priorities of employees continue to evolve. For the first time since we began these reports, those that changed jobs within the last year were more likely to cite better career progression prospects than an increased salary as the most motivating factor behind their move. It's interesting in the light of this that over a third of employees surveyed felt that there was no scope for progression in their current role. Having a positive work-life balance continues to be increasingly important to employees. While there has been progress in improving work-life balance within financial organisations, 41% of professionals rate their work-life balance as average or poor, no change from last year. Looking to the year ahead, 60% of professionals anticipate that they will move jobs within the next 12 months, with 36% expecting to do so in the next 6 months. In contrast to those that moved last year, respondents said an increase in salary was the factor most likely to influence them to move. Despite the overall reduction in hiring, almost 60% of employers stated that increased competition for talent in certain key areas has created skill shortages, up from 49% last year. These areas of shortage supply have seen higher salary increases than the market average, which at 2.5% is consistent with last year. Broadly speaking, the area of technology has seen the highest demand, the most acute shortages, and some of the highest salary increases. Software engineering skills continue to be among the most highly sought after. This year, however, we've also seen a noticeable spike in demand for cybersecurity roles, as well as for data and business intelligence roles. Professionals working in compliance and financial crime saw some of the highest salary increases over the last year. Although regulatory roles have been feeling the effects of restricted hiring during 2019, demand is still present for those with data analytics skills in particular. For the first time this year, we asked respondents about the importance of pay transparency to them and its impact on the attraction and retention of talent. Our findings show that most professionals believe it is important for their organisation to be transparent about how pay levels and pay rises are set. However, just over half of employers agree their organisation is consistently transparent with all employees about how pay levels and pay rises are set. Over a third of employers say they are aware of a gender pay gap within their organisation, and of these, 64% say it is having a negative impact on candidate attraction, and a further 64% say it is negatively affecting staff retention. Furthermore, 29% of employees say they are aware of a gender pay gap in their organisation, and a further 48% are unsure whether or not there is a gap. Of those who are aware of a gender pay gap, 80% say it's an issue for them, with 15% saying it is enough of an issue that they are considering leaving their role because of it. This is a greater issue for women, 89%, than men, 69%. So with all of this in mind, I'd like to close this presentation with some broad recommendations, none of which are revolutionary, but salient nevertheless. First, be more transparent about pay. Pay transparency is an important issue for professionals, and perceived gender pay gaps are having an impact on the ability to attract and retain staff. Employers should therefore put in place practical steps that can help improve pay transparency, which can also help to narrow pay gaps between genders. Second, hire for leadership potential. The competition for managerial and leadership talent between employers is on the rise. Hiring managers should consider adapting their recruitment strategy to focus on the soft skills that a candidate can bring to an organisation, especially the often much harder to learn skills such as leadership. And lastly, offer career progression and flexible working. Salary will always be an important factor to get right, but professionals expect more than just a competitive salary to stay in a role. A lack of career progression was the main reason for employees to leave their last role, over and above salary. Developing career plans with your team is therefore vital to keep your team engaged with your organisation, while promoting your career development opportunities will appeal to job seekers. Employees also value flexible working, with the option to work from home being the most popular. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this bite-sized webinar. For more information on salaries across financial markets, request your copy of our guide at hayes.co.uk/city-salaries. Thank you.